All right, so here she is. Last night I got the titanium headers all done. Nice little headers I had made. If you notice something weird about this, right off the bat, it's got a Yoshimura Alpha Series titanium muffler with titanium headers. Nice little full 6 carbon heat guard on it. But yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And somehow, I'm the only one with a Ducati Monster with a full Yoshi system, or any system. In fact, Yoshimura doesn't make anything for a Ducati. Here's the bike. She sounds pretty cool. I don't know. Gotta probably put some kind of tune kit on it. Gonna talk to the guys at Bazaar, see if they make anything for it. But it seems to be running fine. I've been riding it with the exhaust valve open, with a slip-on with the Yosh pipe on it, and it's been fine. So it was basically a full system. The headers are a little broader on the collector, the 2-in-1 collector, but pretty much stock design. Anything else? Go over this thing? I'll just go over the bike. It started off 2017. I bought it. My friend hit a deer going 10 miles an hour, and basically we totaled it. It just needed handlebar switches, and the frame had a tiny little scratch on it where he had frame sliders, which I personally don't recommend. You can see the little black smudge right over there, but pretty much nothing wrong with the bike. Gas tank was dented, handlebar mount broke off, and it dented the tank. My buddy Chad Jensen did the entire tank repair with no Bondo, pulled the dent out, polished it out. We put the OEM factory Ducati decals on it. All right, well, let's go through the mods on this bike. First thing I needed was the Öhlins dampener on this thing, because I was getting, wobbly front end everywhere. I thought it would correct it. Everybody hypes it up, but honestly, the dampener on this thing is overrated. Some of you guys don't know me. My background is racing. I've been racing since 1999. Typically race GSXRs. Won a couple races, won a couple championships, destroyed a couple helmets, and a couple turn 8 accidents at Willow Springs, going about 155 miles an hour. So everybody has their opinion, but I got about 20 years of racing opinion. 20 years of racing opinion. So the dampener helped, but nowhere near what I thought it would. I think it's just too heavy of a front end, and it just doesn't grab properly. You can see the flex in the mount. I think it's the mount, really. I mean, if we can devise something welded directly to the frame, a more robust mount, I think it would work a lot better. It does work, don't get me wrong, but if you drive this thing like an asshole, like I tend to do, yeah, it's gonna wobble still. So we got the Ducabike, I believe it's Ducabike, yeah, Ducabike dampener mount. I got me the Öhlins dampener from Kyle Racing. They've been always a big supporter of me. Ducabike also makes the clamp mount for the dampener too. It took a long time. I got that coming out of Germany. I should have just went ahead and bought it from Motivation USA. They're, I think, the largest Ducabike distributor in North America. But continuing on, got the Ducati Performance mirrors. They're really nice, although, they are painted. So every time we come back from a canyon ride, that machined aluminum looks really sharp, but the bugs get it. But they do look nice. They're better than the chintzy plastic ones. They're doing some weird cafe style bar end ones that don't even work. Also put the Ducabike handlebar clamp up top. And then we put the Rizoma handlebars. Nice red, made it flashy a little. CNC master cylinder perch clamps, I guess you can call them. And then some Ducati Performance mirrors. Sorry, not mirrors, Ducati Performance reservoirs. The reservoirs, I mounted them with the Panigale mount on the clutch side. I thread the pin that goes through the caliper with a 5mm, put a titanium bolt on there. On the Brake Master, I didn't use the Panigale setup because it would have put the reservoir about 1.5 inches higher. So I bought a sheet of carbon fiber, made my own mount. It works. Before we continue on, this bike has about 243 fasteners. Last night I just put titanium header nuts on, flange nuts. But if you notice, everywhere on this bike, 240 plus fasteners, all replaced with titanium, everywhere you look. Timing cover on the flanges, the bolts right over here on the rear sets, even changed their bolts on the Ducabike rear set carbon plate and everything. Got a Ducabike muffler hanger to work with the Works Yoshimura carbon clamp for the muffler. And this is the race muffler. The little bolts right there, carbon fiber rear fender. We'll go through all the carbon fiber stuff. We got a timing cover, the coolant reservoir cover, the rear fender, the front fender, obviously. I'm getting the radiator stuff in, but it's full 6 makes the side pods. I already ordered it. They're also waiting for the countershaft sprocket cover and some other stuff. But yeah, continuing on, I put these Chinese frame plugs. I refuse to pay $200 for some Ducati brand ones, which these are the same shit. They actually, the Ducati ones and these mount kind of stupid on them. I actually drilled and tapped the bolts going into the frame bolts through the engine and threading them in there so it's nice and solid. If you look even on the radiator, bolts are titanium. The header I haven't even ran. I just warmed it up last night. It's already purpling. Looks pretty bitchin'. Ducabike makes a bitchin' clear clutch housing, I guess, with the decorative pressure plate and the spring. Now, I'm not usually into this. I usually make fun of people who have all this poser shit, but you know what, dude, this is a fuck around bike. It's my hooligan bike. I mean, I probably pull like 20 wheelies on it every day to work. I'm not exaggerating. I'm surprised I haven't gotten pulled over yet, but yeah, they make a pretty bitchin' cover on this thing, and I was like, you know what, dude, it's not a race bike. I don't care about weight savings. This thing weighs a ton. The whole damn housing is aluminum. It's all CNC machine. Looks pretty bitchin'. And if you look closely, the bolts are titanium. It's got a machined aluminum fill plug on there. The fill plug's in the forward, not rear. A little different, but pretty badass. The Ducabike rear sets are badass too. They accompany that clutch housing pretty good because of all the CNC machining. I mean, look at that, dude. It is pretty nuts. It's got folding pegs, and it's totally adjustable, which I like. On the Monster, you're not really worried too much about adjustability, but yeah, still, you do have some adjustability. I like the toe peg adjustment because you can precisely adjust where you want it. I have some hiking shoes that I wear, kind of like big-toed in the front, and then when I switch to my other shoes, sometimes I just make a quick adjustment because when you got to bang it in the gears, Ducatis, unlike Suzuki's that I've raced in the past, have a lot of travel in the shifter. But then again, my Suzuki has a works transmission in it, and it doesn't necessarily have that much play. Put the Ducati Performance turn signals front and back, the TWM brake levers, which they make for Ducati Performance. It's the daughter of Marcassini. She makes a bunch of like machine parts. You could say foldable clutch levers. They make gas caps that are really fucking bitchin', and I'm picky. And they also make the remote brake reservoir adjuster. Sorry, not reservoir, the brake lever adjuster. I'm tired, I just woke up. Figured I'd do a video before I get to the shop. That's my rock form phone mount. It's pretty cool. Holds my phone. Do 4th and 5th gear wheelies on this thing, and the fucker stays on. Now on this side, still waiting for some stuff. I got the Ducabike slave cylinder. Even the bleeders on this thing are titanium. If you look again, everything is titanium. Waiting for the Ilfberger, whatever, clutch cover. I'm sorry, not the clutch cover, the generator cover, left side engine cover, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna hollow it out right over here, so that way this thing's exposed, it'll look bitchin'. And then got some Samco hoses. Samco hoses were fun to install. These look all easy, but there's one that goes in the middle of the 2 cylinders, right inside this contraption, behind the reservoir for the coolant, which is freaking impossible to remove. It literally took me 3 hours. I mean, it was crazy. Full 6 left side frame covers, engine covers, and on the bottom, full 6 carbon cover. I'm waiting for the cover to come on the oil cooler. And I got the, I forgot what brand it is, remind me, Evotech radiator guard and the engine guard. The oil cooler guard I haven't put on yet. I don't even think it works. It looks pretty chintzy. My radiator guards on my race bike, on my Superbike race bike. I made one out of stainless steel that Yoshimura recommended. It was good for 200 mile an hour impacts with you know, any projectile that you run into. Here's the other side rear set. I painted the kickstand. She was all boogered up, made her look pretty. Even has a CNC machined a shift linkage to the transmission shifter. Waiting for that carbon cover to come in for the sprocket. If you look, everything, even stuff back here. Titanium header bolts. Ducati Performance swing arm cover. Chain guard. There's that rear fender again. Got a tail tidy right over here. Made by RNG. It kind of comes out. It's not really like super tail tidy, but it's way better than the stock one. Still got a stock seat and seat cover. I think it looks fine. Does the job. But overall, I'm gonna step back. I got my workbench in the way. By the way, if you guys are interested, if you guys are into tools, I built a sick ass workbench. I did a little video on it, and then I built this snap-on work table. It's kind of a bullshit work table that you put a snap-on hutch on. It matches that. So yeah, if you guys are interested in snap-on tools, yeah, I'm a tool whore so long as a motorcycle fucking freak. So yeah, there it is. She's looking pretty fun to ride. Really fun to ride. I love this bike. I haven't been riding my other street bike, which is my former V-twin Superbike that I raced in Wera. Raced the Grand National Finals in that. Got third. Won a V-twin Superbike championship. Kind of sandbagged that class in the Superleggera, but yeah, she was pretty badass. But that thing's uncomfortable. I mean, I restored the thing back to stock and made it beautiful again, but put it back to street. But this thing is just so easy to ride. 140 plus horsepower. I don't even know the specs. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. And 90% of the guys talking fucking horsepower can't even ride their bike to fucking 60% of its potential. Not saying that I can ride it to 100%, but I get pretty fucking damn close. Yeah, she's pretty and easy to ride, comfortable. You can take this thing for long rides. I got one of those Senna freaking, what do you call it? Which one is this? The 20XCT. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it's pretty cool. You listen to tunes and you can take calls, and just pretty fun getting back on the street, riding on the street. And not really used to doing a lot of street riding. Used to race every other freaking week, and that gets exhausting, and it becomes like a job, and you kind of start hating it, and then you get pissed off and you don't do good. Or somebody T-bones you on your Superleggera going into turn 5 at Las Vegas, punts you on a bike that you got about $100,000 worth of shit on. Or turn 2 at Willow, you get punted going 115, 20 miles an hour on a factory Yoshimura Superbike. Yeah, not fun. You guys can see the picture. But, yep, there's a stock headers I took off last night. It weighs 6.4 pounds. The new one I didn't weigh. This bike is weighing at 406 pounds right now. That's with a half a tank of gas. It wasn't completely empty and it wasn't full. So 406 pounds versus 475 full. I'd say about another gallon and a half of gas. That's about 12 pounds. So this fucker weighs about 418, I would give it. 418 pounds fully wet, with the addition of a steering dampener. Looking at the forks right now. Forks come with 8.0 springs on them. I took them out, bought the stupid little tool for it because I only have the race Olin's tool. The stock application one, they're a little different size. Went ahead and put a 9.0 on there. On My Ducati, I run a 11.5 spring rate on the front end. On the Suzuki's, I run 9.75. Monster comes really soft considering how much it weighs, but then again, it's made for comfort. And it was way too damn soft. So up to 9. I think I'm gonna throw down a 10 in one side, make it a 9.5, and she should be good. It's pretty damn perfect right now, though. Another thing that I noticed I forgot to mention was these carbon CNC carbon. I guess you can call them air cooling scoops. And I just put it on there just to be funny. I don't know. Maybe I need it. Got some Evotech front fork sliders. Evotech rear wheel sliders. I guess it's not a swing arm slider. These nuts are titanium as well too. They don't come titanium stock. They cost a pretty penny, but I guess overall weight savings is important, right? Show ride battery saved a lot of weight. The battery in there, right behind that gold DEI exhaust heat shield that I put on there just to make it look trick. Honestly, 90% of the guys that use this shit don't know what the fuck they're doing or need it. So you look at a bunch of YouTube guys, oh yeah, they're gold plating their airbox, and they fucking go out there, they get lapped in 4 laps by someone like me, or faster. Ducabike, I guess you call it the rear quick change sprocket assembly with all titanium nuts. Put a 520 kit on there. I put stock gearing on it. It was fun. When I first got this thing, I started wheeling it, and then I was like, you know what, gearing's fine. Works good. I had to re-snug the bolts last night and noticed they were starting to get a little loose. And torque them down real good. If you look really close right over here, where is it? Let me try to find it. The bolt for the kickstand. Yeah, right over there. Even that's tie. The bushing inside is tie. All the linkage bolts right over here tie. Like I said, everything is tie. The only thing that's threaded that's not tie is these freaking hose clamps. All the bleeders, banjo bolts, everything. All titanium. There she is. I hope you guys like it. Post some comments, subscribe if you like motorcycles. Check out my other videos. I got a couple of track race videos on there. You can see my Super Leggera in action. You can see my Suzuki's. I got a boring tutorial video that I did half asleep, and a bunch of tool videos. So if you like tools and motorcycles, I took all my gun shit off because you know how our government is. You guys have any ideas or questions, hit me up. I'm also a full 6 dealer if you guys are interested in full 6 carbon fiber or pretty much anything. I work on cars at our shop, but I work on motorcycles plenty enough to have accounts and work on them every now and then. Here she is.